Hello there, it's Simone. I am so glad you are joining me today for a video where I am going to trick myself into creating art or making art. I am on this year-long, maybe lifelong journey of becoming an artist. And I have to add the disclaimer right now. Maybe that is not the right term, but that is how I felt when I said it out loud for the first time. Maybe I have been an artist all along and I just didn't know or let that side of myself come out. I am showing you here the game that I am playing that helps me actually commit to making art. I found this inspiration from my friend Angie. She is Yarn and Yarns on YouTube, and she is a knitter, and she uses the dice to determine what kind of knitting projects she is, or fiber projects she is working on in a specific month. And when I saw her do that, share that on her YouTube video, the last time I watched one of her videos, my mind started thinking, and I decided that maybe that would be a really good way of helping me actually do some art, because that is the biggest problem that I have right now. I have lots of ideas, I want to do many things, but I never commit to actually going beyond thinking of making art. So I checked my schedule for days where I have no work outside of the house. And I say that because there's always cooking, cleaning, and driving my kids around someplace in the afternoon. And so that never stops. But when I'm not away in the morning for my real job, then I could commit to playing the dice game. And that is exactly what I did here. So before I started the dice game, I procrastinated and I made beautiful cards from journaling cards, and just stamped numbers on the front, and then I used sticky notes so I would be able to reuse the cards at a later date. And every time I roll the dice and I pick a card, then I do commit to doing what is written on the back. Yes, I need that kind of pressure. I need that commitment. I know myself well enough that I know that it works right now. I just need to know when it doesn't work anymore. But it's kind of when I think, oh, I could do this. Yeah, I can do this sometime. And then it's in the back of my head and I just don't do it because I don't fully commit. By putting it on the card, I am committing that when I roll the dice, that I'm going to do this, whatever it is. This time it was finishing the rainbows. So let me tell you the story about the rainbows. The rainbows I have started in January. I saw inspiration online. This is not my brainchild. I was greatly inspired by the Instagram account at Fodder School, and there is a year-long course that you can do with them where they create art. And I know I could probably just take the course, but I know myself. I need to want to do something really badly, and I want to do it on my own terms. And as soon as I join a class or I do stuff like that, suddenly I cannot do this anymore. So I need to do things on my own terms, and this right now is working. So in January, I wanted to do those rainbows that I saw on their Instagram account. And I chose to make those rainbows on Tomoe River paper. This is actually papers from a Hobonichi Weeks that I ended up not using. And so I decided to just cut out the paper so I would have Tomoe River paper to make art on, because that is a paper that I really love, and I really love how the watercolor performs on it. So I decided that would be the medium that I use to create those rainbows. Then I made one, like I made a lot of rainbows with watercolor on the paper, and then the next step is to embellish them. Maybe let's put it that way, make marks on the rainbows. That is probably the better artist way to say that. So I made marks on the rainbows. I made it on one rainbow, and then I tried another one that you can see on this, the green one that is so overloaded, it's not even funny. And then I stopped. I digitized that one rainbow that I made, and then I actually ordered a sticker and included it in my NaCoWriMo. And then I meant to go back and finish all of those rainbows, because I knew that it would be really helpful for my progression as an artist to practice leaving those marks on those rainbows. But I never did. So that is what I mean by, yeah, I would like to do this, but I don't have time then. I don't have enough time. I can do other things. I never commit to doing those. And now by creating this dice game, I am implementing the commitment. And I'm also helping myself by making the decision on what art project, what thing that I meant to do for a long time, I am actually working on. And so far, well, I have only done one thing. It works really well. So I set up the camera, I rolled the dice in the morning, and then as you saw, I pulled out the rainbows, I pulled out the pens, and I started leaving marks. I wasn't able to finish them all in one sitting, but I don't think that should be my goal. It should be my goal to just commit to doing art that day, the art that I roll the dice for, and then see where that takes me. After I had left marks on those rainbows, I digitized the sheets. I do have them digitally now. Don't really know what I'm going to do with that yet. And then I wasn't sure what I was going to do with those. I have since cut those apart, and you will see close-ups of them later on. And what I realized while I was doing this was that maybe art also just takes time, and art is not something that you can pull off because you are determined to make art. But there's a lot of art happening in the waiting. Since I started working on those rainbows, I have kept them in the back of my mind, and I have started to find ideas on what else I can make with them. So let's talk about that specific art that I made here. I realized while I was working on the rainbows that an open edge, the outside rainbow, needs to be made with a darker color, and it needs to be a closed line, otherwise it did not look finished. And so that's what I added to each of those rainbows. I added zigzags, I added these leafy twines, maybe that's what we can call those. I added just I reinforced them. I added what would you call those? Lines, just different marks that I had in my head, circles, bubbly lines, all different kinds of marks that I was able to think of. I added to those, and I really, really like how they turned out. So now, if you have been following me for a while, you definitely know that I started a Ko-fi or Ko-fi. I never know how to pronounce it. I would say Ko-fi. Let me know how you pronounce it in the comments down below. But I have memberships, not ships. I have just one membership, which is the lowest tier, which is called the Believer, where if you believe that I am an artist, then you believe more than I do. And you can support me that way on a regular basis. But I have been thinking of maybe adding another membership level where I would send out pieces of the art that I make while I'm playing the dice game, or finished products that come out of that dice game, and some happy mail, some little items from my stash, a nice note, one finished object, the monthly reflection. Not 100% sure what all it would include, but I feel like I might be ready for that. And I just wanted to hear what you think. Would that be something that you are interested in receiving? I'm thinking about having that membership be a $10 tier, and I would also limit the members that could receive it because I am a one-woman show. This is basically my third job. The first job is the one that is out of the house. The second job is the children taxi and feeding person, cook. And then the third one is this one. So I know that I have enough time to work on art. I know that I have enough time to send out happy mail, but it's definitely not an unlimited thing. And I need to make sure that I produce art, at least one piece of art every month. So I think I can do that, and I think I am ready. I'm grateful for the dice game that showed me that I can actually accomplish things. Let me know what you think. I would be really curious if that is something that you are interested in. I think I want to try, but then I'm also definitely not just a tiny bit. I'm also afraid of failure or rejection. What if I open this up and then nobody out there thinks that I would be sending them nice happy mail and they'd rather spend their money someplace else? I don't know if that is a reasonable thought or not. I think that's something that everyone, every artist, every person who is out there on social media, on YouTube, on everywhere, who is sharing part of their soul with the universe, that is something that everybody, that fear everybody has. And it's just, how brave are we to put ourselves out there and pursue what we think is right? Now that is super philosophical, but I think that is part of what art is. Part of art is just throwing your soul, throwing yourself out onto paper or whatever medium you choose to use for your art, and being very vulnerable in the process. And every person out there who is sharing their art with the world and who is not just doing art for themselves in the closet. Even if you do art for yourself in the closet and share it on social media somewhere, you are absolutely very brave. I admire you for sharing what is such a great part of you. And I am going to end on that note. Thank you so much for being part of my journey. Thank you so much for believing in me. Thank you so much for taking the time and watching all of the videos that I put out there. I am absolutely amazed by the community and the love that you all share with me. Thank you for letting me be part of your life. I hope to see you out there. If you're still there, thank you so much for watching. You are the reason that I make those videos. I hope to see you soon. Until then, bye.